Hi guys, it's your girl Tolulope here again, and I'm here with another tutorial. I'm here to teach you how to make the Zara cap with the rose design at the back. Please, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, kindly click on the subscribe button and turn on notification bell so you get notified when I post all that tutorials. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to be showing you how to make the Zara cap, okay? And these are the materials that I need on my table right here. Alright, so I'm going to be starting with my fabric. You can make use of any fabric, stretchy or non-stretchy, but I'm going to be using satin shiny face. And my fabric is 1 yard. Out of this 1 yard, I'm going to be getting 2 Zara caps, okay? I have my matching color of thread and hand needle. I have my hot glue gun, which is optional. You can make use of your UHU gun or your B6000. I have my scissors. I have my embellishment. This is also optional. You can make use of any embellishment, or you can also work without any embellishment. I have my tape measure. I have this is called Mako. I got it from those who sell shoemaking materials, okay? And then I just cut out a piece from the big one I got. And then I have my foam. This is the 1/4 inch foam, and I'm going to be using this for the design behind my cap. So let's get started, guys. Okay, so I already cut out my fabric and my Mako, like I said earlier, and my Mako measures 2.5 inches. You can actually use up to 3 inches, but I like to make use of 2.5 inches, okay? So I already cut out my Mako 2.5 inches by 18 inches, okay? And then I'm going to fold my Mako into 2 equal halves to get the center of my Mako. Okay, after doing that, then I'm going to take my fabric as well, and I'm going to fold into 2 equal halves. Oh, I'm sorry, the measurement for my fabric is 26 inches by 18 inches. 26 inches edge circumference, 18 inches the length of my fabric. So I'm going to fold my fabric into 2, and then I'm going to notch to get the center, and then I'm going to be placing my Mako on my fabric center to center, or rather middle to middle, okay? So I'm going to be moving the Mako up to the point where I know my fabric is going to go over the Mako and still have a little bit extra to fold in, because I have to tape in the edge of my fabric because I'm working with satin, and to make my work neat and tidy, I'm going to have to fold in that tip just at the top of the Mako. I have to fold it in before I sew. So once I'm folding in my Mako, I'm going to make sure that I have a little extra at the top there, and at the same time I need to make sure that my Mako is touching the tip right there where I'm touching. The Mako is touching that place and it's quite firm, so I have to ensure that, as well as folding in the edge just the way I did now, and then I'm going to sew it straight down. All right, that's what I'm going to be doing with my Mako. Okay, like I said before, you can increase your Mako to 3 inches instead of 2.5 inches. So at this point, that means your Mako is going to be shorter than your fabric, okay? So I'm going to take it to a sewing machine and sew like that. But also, if you know you can't sew it like that, you can first of all tape in that edge. Just fold it in once and sew, then you continue with the procedure if you know that you can't tape it in at once. So you can just first of all take in that tip, fold it in straight down, then sew, then you now place your Mako and just fold it across like that, and then stitch again. All right, so whichever one works for you. So I'm going to do that now, and we'll be back. So now I'm going to proceed to making the design for my cap, and that is the rose. You can alter the design at the back. You can put any design behind your Zara cap, but this is what I do most often, and then I've got a lot of reviews about it, so I'm just going to show you how I did this. I'm just trying to trim out the excess I have on that edge. Okay, the measurement for the rose for my fabric, I have about 33 inches by 8 inches. You can increase the measurement if you want your rose bigger. All right, 33 by 8 inches. And then I have my foam. My foam is about 7.5 inches, and the length of my foam is not up to the length of my fabric. Like, as if my fabric is about 33 inches, my foam is about 30 inches. All right, it's about 3 inches less than the length of the fabric. Okay, that's because I don't want the foam showing in front of the fabric, in front of the rose or at the back of the rose. So I just reduce the length of my foam all right. And then I have my foam. You can leave your foam at 8 inches or you can make use of 7.5 inches. Like I said earlier, I'm making use of the 1/4 inch foam. You can get this from the sawmill or from any carpenter around you. You can also make use of the 1/2 inch foam if you want your design to be very puffy. Also, you can make use of your wording if you want. If it depends on what you want to achieve. Anyways, you can also make use of your fabric without the foam. All right. So, but like I said earlier, my fabric measures 8 inches width on the width side. That's 8 inches when I open it up, and the length I have is 33 inches. The length I use sometimes varies. Sometimes I use 35 inches, sometimes I use 38 inches. It depends on how big I want the rows to come out. That's the length. You can also increase the width of your rows of your fabric to maybe about 10 or 12. It depends on how big you want it to be. But mind you, the length of your foam should not be up to the length of your fabric. That is, if your fabric is about 33 inches like mine, my foam is about 30 inches. Okay, that's because, like I said, I don't want the foam showing on the edges by the time I am done making my rows. All right, so all I'm just going to do is I'm going to get my hand sewing needle. I'm going to get my thread in my hand sewing. I'm going to thread my needle rather, and then I'm making use of the big needle. My thread is into about 4 places, and then when I put it into my thread, it's into about 8 places. Anytime I want to make a rose like that, I like to have a very thick thread because I'm going to be doing some pulling and I don't want my thread to cut when I go ahead to pull. Once again, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not subscribed. Please, the subscribe button is just below this video. Kindly click on subscribe. It's free, and I'll be glad to have you join me on this channel. Okay, our social media platforms are in the description box. Also under this video, you'll see some links to our Telegram group and to all our other social media platforms. You can click on any of those links to anyone you'd like to connect with me, and I'll be glad to have you join me. Thank you. Please don't forget to leave a comment if this video is helpful, and don't forget to share and like. Alright, so now I'm going to just arrange my foam into my fabric. So what I'm doing is I'm ensuring that the foam touches the very tip right there, up there. So, and I'm going to start forming loose stitches or running stitches or gathers, like some of us call it. So I'm going to start forming my gathers round the open parts of my fabric with my foam in the middle. So I'm just sandwiching my foam between my fabric. I folded my fabric over the foam, and I folded the foam into 2. So the foam is sandwiched between the fabric. I'm going to form gathers all the way from that the beginning right to the other side. So I'm just going to be forming loose stitches, big gathers. Okay, you don't want the gathers to be too close to themselves. Although if the gathers are close to themselves, it's not like it will not come out fine. It's just that you might get a different results entirely. So I'm just going to be forming my gathers like that all the way down to the other side. So once I'm almost at the other side, or rather once I get to the other side, I am going to I'm going to show you how to finish it. Please ensure that your foam touches the tip, because if you don't, it's going to make your rose look funny. All right, because that upper plate, or rather the other side, the opposite side of where I'm forming my gathers, if the rose is not getting to, if the foam rather is not getting to that part, your rose is going to come out looking funny. So ensure that you push in the foam as you form your gathers. Make sure that you push in the foam as you form your gathers. So guys, as you can see, I'm on the other end of my gather. So I just gathered all the way and took it up just the same way I started. I took it over to the other side, and then I decided to just pull first. Please, I'm just trimming off some of the dangling threads. All right, so I'm going to be pulling my thread to make sure that it forms the gathers properly. All right, I do not want spaces in. So guys, like I said, I'm just going to pull my thread to form my gathers together, to bring it all up together. All right, so Now back to the cap. I have sewn the part I showed you earlier, and now I have the right side of my turban facing, rather the right sides are going to be facing each other, just the way I've placed it. The right sides of my cap will be facing each other while the wrong side will be facing me. I'm going to fold it into two, and then I'm going to measure to sew. So usually for non-stretchy fabrics, I use between 25 and 26 inches depending on my customer's head circumference. But if I'm using a stretchy fabric to make the Zara cap and the fabric is quite stretchy, if it's a very stretchy fabric, I maintain the 23 inches normal head circumference. That's what I use. So for this one, because it's a satin shiny face and it's not stretchy, I'm going to be using about 25.5 inches. Alright, and I forgot to tell you, before you close up your cap, you can see that point right there where the marco ended. I made a stitch right on top of the marco to keep it in place, and then I'm going to sew and close my Zara cap just like we close our turban cap regularly. So I'm going to sew on 25.5 inches. Okay, so guys, I've sewn the cap, I've closed it, and then I have taken it to the weaving machine to weave it. This is because I'm working with satin, and satin, the edges frills, it will keep on losing if I don't weave it. So I've weaved it like that. Now I'm going to form my gathers from one end of the cap to the other. Look at the two edges I'm touching. So I'm going to be forming loose stitches from the end at the top to the bottom. So alright guys, so I've formed the gathers. If you don't know how to form gathers, please watch one of my previous videos on how to make turbans and you see how to form the gathers. So now I have my rows ready. You can see the way I overlapped my rows on top of each other, and then I'm going to be placing this on the back of my cap. I'm going to place this on the back of my Zara cap, and then I'm going to you can either glue or stitch, but I prefer to stitch. For me, it's safer to stitch because I can be rest assured that my design is going to stay. Alright, so I'm just going to get my needle and thread. Just as usual, my thread is doubled, is thick, and I'm going to be tacking it to the back of my Zara cap, right on the back of my Zara cap. Alright, so I'm just going to be doing that now, and then we'll proceed to the next stage. Okay, so I've tacked it, and then I just took a small flower to embellish that place. Now I'm going to be embellishing the front of my Zara cap. Alright, I'm going to be attaching this with my candle gum, and you can use any embellishment, you can do anything you want with it. Alright guys, so we have come to the end of this class. I hope you were able to get value from this class. I hope you've learned one or two things from the class, and I really hope that you have subscribed to my YouTube channel. Alright, so like I said before, you can embellish with anything, or you can as well decide to leave it plain. Please don't forget that you can connect with me on my social media platforms with the links in the description box that's under this video. There's a description box, and you see some links right there to connect with me on Telegram, on Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp if you want to communicate with me. I look forward to taking your questions, and I look forward to doing more tutorials for you. If there's any design you'd like me to do a tutorial on, please kindly contact me on my WhatsApp number, and I'll be glad to do it for you if it's within my power. Once again, I want to thank you for watching. I'll leave you to just watch the rest of the video, and I hope to catch you in the next tutorial video, and bye.